Sweet Baby Inc. and similar narrative consultation companies are a plague to the video game industry, and while it doesn't look like they're going away anytime soon, it does look like there may be negative outcomes for the people who previously worked for them, as a former SBI employee has implied that developers did not want to hire him after working for Kim Belair's company. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I don't really feel all that bad because these are people who are activists who are working for companies that are a plague to the video game industry, but it is hilarious to see. This is a That Park Place article. It says a former SBI employee has revealed that developers did not want to hire him because he worked for the video game consultancy. Hashimoto was actually recently featured in an article written by Zachary Small at the New York Times, where he claimed that Japanese people were not upset about Assassin's Creed Shadows and claimed that much of the pushback against the game and one of its main characters, Yasuke, was being done by Westerners using translation. Now, this, yes, is somebody who has worked with Ubisoft in order to attack gamers. This is not an individual that we should defend or honestly feel bad by any stretch of the means. And well, after working for a group of activists because they are an activist, it looks like they're getting a bit of a taste of their own medicine and they're learning the hard lesson that companies want to make money, at least some of them, and gamers are furious at SBI and anybody affiliated because in a recent Twitch stream, Hashimoto provided more details about the NYT, saying a couple of months ago, the New York Times actually got in touch with me to ask me about Assassin's Creed, in which I was like, yeah, reception's honestly like kind of positive, which definitely isn't true, so that is still a straight up lie. I even just had done a video when I am uploading this where Japan is furious yet again over a one-legged Torigate being featured on one of the Assassin's Creed Shadows statues. And of course, it was only looking that way. It was only destroyed because of the Nagasaki devastation. So that has infuriated people. Another attempt at Ubisoft disrespecting Japanese history, but there have been plenty of Japanese people who have been furious over this game. And of course, stretching out to other companies that have worked with Ubisoft, like the New York Times in this hit piece against gamers and Sweet Baby Inc. While at this point in time, there is no definitive proof that Sweet Baby Inc. consulted on Assassin's Creed Shadows, we do know Kim Belair had used to work at Ubisoft. She has a lot of ties to the people working on Shadows. They've retweeted each other plenty of times, so it seems that she is trying to help with the promotion of this game, and they are kind of affiliated in some way, shape, or form. But later in the stream, Hashimoto claimed that he did not work on Assassin's Creed Shadows. He said, I can say that I didn't do any consultation work on Shadows. The stuff I did with Sweet Baby, I will probably never be able to talk about just because of the way that game development works. So yeah, it's really weird, and I have a feeling that I'm going to get blamed for changes and decisions made on a game that I worked on that weren't even that I didn't even know about, or I wasn't even aware of, or not even a part of, he shared. Nobody's necessarily blaming him because he is saying that he did not work on this game, but at the same time, he worked for Sweet Baby Inc., and Sweet Baby Inc. is clearly affiliated with Ubisoft in a lot of different, even small ways. Later on in the stream, he revealed that developers did not want to hire him, given he was a former Sweet Baby Inc. employee. He said, there are definitely jobs that I've found where people have seen the fact that I worked for Sweet Baby, and it's been a year since I've worked with them, and it's just like a contractual basis when I was, so just periodically for a couple of years, people will literally be like, hey, are we going to get harassed for hiring you? And I think that really sucks, that instead of we'll protect our employee, the employer or the potential person giving you the contract will be more concerned about that than protecting their employees. That's kind of effed up. I still think it's annoying and that's a very good word for it because largely it doesn't materially affect our work. The vast majority of these companies already know what's going on and they still hire us. They know what we actually do, and it doesn't necessarily change our baseline survival. So it's funny to me that he's wording it this way, that, oh, they actually know what I do. Sweet Baby Inc. is a consultancy group who goes in and changes content, and even though there are journos out there who will try to convince you that you don't know what Sweet Baby Inc. does, you know exactly what they do, and these people are just trying to gaslight you. And sure, it does suck that you can't get a job, but you decided to work for Sweet Baby Inc. You decided to work for a company that at that point was, yes, already being heavily criticized, and they are doing exactly what we think. So you can try to play the victim all you want, but at the end of the day, you got paid for a job, and it's just as simple as that. Like, I'm not going to sit here and feel bad for someone who did get hired, who did get paid, who did this job. And yes, honestly, it's not that sad to see someone having a tough time getting a job when they worked for this group of activists, because they are an activist. I don't feel bad knowing that these people are having a hard time finding a job within the industry, because I don't want them to be a part of the industry, and you should neither. They do not care about video games. They do not care about the health of video games. They simply care about working their way and weaseling their way in and making money, doing as much damage as possible, making this industry as diverse and inclusive as they think it should be, making changes to content, not allowing women to be feminine, sexy icons, or men to be masculine men. They just want soy boys, and they just want flat-chested frannies. They want, messages to be pushed in content because they are activists, and that's not what gamers want. And it is good to see that these people are maybe finally getting a little bit of a taste of their own medicine. I am not for cancel culture. I think that they should be able to, of course, apply for a job, but if they are just not being hired, it is what it is. They would not defend people like me, so why should I defend people like them? Same goes for you guys. They want us to not be able to play video games. They want us to not find enjoyment in video games because we do not want narratives shoved in our content. They want everything to have some sort of message or agenda. So at the end of the day, it's not really shocking to hear that these people are having a tough time finding jobs after working for Sweet Baby and Kim Belair. Am I shocked to hear this? Not really, because while there are a lot of companies who will work with narrative consultation groups, there are plenty who are not looking for narratives to be shoved into their content. Look at Saber Interactive with Space Marines 2. Look at plenty of other games like Black Myth Wukong or Stellar Blade. We're just talking about developers who are passionate and who feel confident in their work, and they are getting paid to be confident in their work and actually create decent content. So I don't feel that bad that activists are having a hard time finding jobs within the industry, and you shouldn't either. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.